So again, good morning. Welcome to the webinar, The Future of Logistics and E-commerce in Europe, a case for Northern France. My name is Elias Rock, and I'm head of the Invest for the region Benelux and DACH at Business France, based in Düsseldorf. Business France is a French government organization in charge of, among others, promoting in France as an investment destination and supporting foreign companies investing in France. To do so, we work together with regional economic development agencies such as North France Invest, which will be introduced by its general manager right after. The objective of today's roundtable is to illustrate the attractiveness of France, especially Hauts-de-France region, for logistics services, and also companies using logistics services. Speakers representing 4 different companies and organizations will talk about their footprint in Northern France and why it makes sense for them to, I will share my screen. It makes sense for them to be based in this region. Sign out, I share my screen. So they will talk about their footprint in Northern France and why it makes sense for them to, for their business to be located in this region. They will talk about the latest trends in their business and the impact of the pandemic on these trends, about recruiting, training, or managing talents in France or the France region, and finally about their latest or future investment in France or the France. But before introducing them, let me give you a bit of context in the form of figures on foreign investment in France in 2020. On June 7th was published the latest European Attractiveness Survey of EY, and let me give you 3 figures about it. 985, it's a number of foreign investment projects France attracted last year, despite the pandemic. With this figure, France remained for the 2nd year in a row first rank in Europe for foreign investment. 341 of these projects were in manufacturing activities. France also leads the ranking in Europe for this type of activities. And finally, 89 projects were identified in the logistics function. It's a 2% increase in comparison to last year, which illustrates the great resilience of this sector, of this activity in a pandemic year. Let me now introduce our speakers and thank them. So we have Séverine Demange, Corporate Business Development Director at FM Logistique. Good morning, Séverine.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to be with you today.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here and sharing your experience with us. After we have Christophe Dorin, Country Manager Wepa France.
Hello, good morning to everybody.
Hello, Christophe. Emmanuel Bat, Site Director at Reynaers Aluminium France.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Emmanuel. And Didier Thomas, Territorial Director at Pôle Emploi Nord-Pas-de-Calais. Pas-de-Calais.
Good morning, and thanks for welcoming us in this webinar.
So again, thank you to all 4 of you for taking part to this roundtable. And let's start with the opening remarks by Yann Pitolet, General Manager of North France Invest Agency. Yann?
Yes, thank you, Elias. Good morning, everyone. I would like, first of all, to thank you for attending this webinar and also thank our speakers today. So this webinar definitely is on logistics and e-commerce in Europe and France, but we have chosen to focus also on the Hauts-de-France region, so northern France region. Why? Because we are definitely the first region in France for logistic activities. And Elias referred to the EY report that was released last week. And this report also states that, well, of course, France is the first country in Europe for foreign direct investments. And as far as our region is concerned, Hauts-de-France, we are the first region in France for manufacturing and logistic projects. And we are the second region in Europe, in EU. We are the second region in EU in 2020 for manufacturing and logistic projects. So for attracting foreign direct investments in these sectors. So it means that we are we are part of the leaders of the leading regions in that field. Why is it so? As you can see on this map, so well, Hauts-de-France region goes from, let's say, the Belgium border, you know, and the Channel, Dunkerque, Calais. We goes almost to Paris. We do not include Paris, but we goes really just before Paris and Roissy-Charles de Gaulle Airport. So we benefit from a very strategic and central location, right in the middle of the first consuming area in Europe, because we have something like 78 million consumers within, let's say, a half a day truck journey. So which is really outstanding, and it allows a lot of companies to reach their market very quickly. And as I said, we are the first region for logistic activities in France. It's more than 150,000 employees in that field. And also we benefit from our ports, Dunkerque, Calais, once again, which is strategic for business with the UK. And also we are very close to the Netherlands and Belgium ports of Antwerp, Rotterdam, and Zeebrugge also. And then we also, within a few years, we also have a new canal, sea canal, which will be finalized between our region. So let's say the Rhine network and Paris. For the barge and the container transport by canal, and then we also have airports. We are very close to Roissy-Charles de Gaulle once again, and we have also very effective and cost-effective railway transport system. So for all this region, we have a very strong logistic ecosystem. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Regarding this logistic ecosystem in our region. So you can see on this map that we have a lot of players. It can be pure players, it can be retail company, world leaders in the retail business, like Auchan, for example. We have pure players like Amazon, so in the e-commerce, which are really booming in the region. There are more and more warehouses. Then we have, of course, logistic companies. FM Logistic, of course, is one of them, and we'll have a testimony in a few minutes. And then we have the logistic activities for manufacturing companies, and you can see a lot of them on this map. And of course, Wepa. Christophe Dorin will speak a bit later about their logistic activities in the region. So for us, I think it was obvious to share all this information with you, and we hope that you will really enjoy this webinar and find it informative. Just a few words about who we are, North France Invest. North France Invest is the investment promotion agency for the Hauts-de-France region. So we work in a very close partnership with Business France, which is the national agency. And we aim at advising you if you have any further questions about how to set up in the region. We are here to advise you on this topic. And once again, thank you for being here, and enjoy this webinar.
Thank you, Jan. I must ask you a couple of questions at the end of the roundtable.
That's fine.
So let's get started. So the first chapter, first large question we would like to ask to our speakers is about their footprint in northern France. So they will introduce us their company and their footprint in France, and will explain us why being located in northern France makes sense for the business with respect to logistics, of course, but or to other things. So we start with Christophe Dorin from Wepa. Hello, Christophe, again.
Hello. Yes, so Wepa is the third player in Europe for the supply of the big retailers with hygiene product made of paper. So we are working and delivering private label. So what is those products? They are basically toilet paper, kitchen towel, napkins, and hankies. So it's a fourth. If you go to the next slide, please. So Wepa is 4,000 people in Europe with a turnover about 1.3 billion euros. And we have 13 plants in Europe, including 3 in France. Among the 3 in France, we have 2 in Hauts-de-France, 1 in Lille, which is really the center of the map that you have shown before, Mr. Pitolet, and 1 which is just in between Paris and Reims and the south of Hauts-de-France. Those 2 sites are delivering a product through our customers in France, but also in Benelux and in UK. By doing this, we have about 45% of our turnover, which is made with export, especially to Benelux and to UK. Turnover of Wepa in France is 350 million euros and 800 employees. And like was shown before, I think we have a very good footprint from our plants through a density of population which is very high at about 300 kilometers around Lille. And this is exactly what we are looking for. Our products are very light. Our logistic costs are high. It's about 10% of our production cost. So we need to optimize our deliveries and our costs. We are also taking advantage of the port. We are getting our raw materials via Antwerp, especially the pulp coming from South America. And then those products are shipped to Lille by a barge. So it's also an ecological and economical way to get raw materials delivered to our plant. I don't know if you go to the next slide, I think we have covered, yeah. So this is the type of product that we are doing. We are dealing with retailers, like I said, and we have also a sector dedicated to the away from home, which is what we call the professional. Here, this is the location of the 2 Hauts-de-France sites, and you can see that, like I said before, that from those 2 sites we have a very good footprint for deliveries in a circle of about 300 kilometers radius.
Thank you, Christophe. Now, Séverine.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to please introduce us FM Logistic?
Yes. So FM Logistic is a family-owned company built by 2 families, Family Faure and Family Machet, to the name FM Logistic, 53 years ago. We are today present worldwide in 14 countries, and we are more than 27,000 people in the world. And our turnover is about 1.4 billion euro revenue. We have around 170 warehouses in the world. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Yes, our main activities are warehousing. So more than 50% of our logistic activities are the warehousing and handling. 36% in transportation and supply chain management, and 10%, the rest of the 10% are in co-packing and co-manufacturing for our customers, mainly for FMCG customers. So here you can see the map of our footprint. So originally, FM Logistic is a French company. After French, the families decided to go to Russia. So the second country was been opened after France was Russia, where we went originally with our customer Mars. So our strategy is to expand mostly with our customers. So that's why you can see that the map is not very homogeneous. So we are present in France, Spain, and Italy, Central Europe, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Czech Republic, Russia for the Russian, and in Asia it's India, China, and Vietnam, and the last one is Brazil in South America. Just to come closer to FM Logistic France. So FM Logistic France is the biggest country of FM Logistic worldwide, with more than 30 platforms, 30 sites, and 6,500 employees. From these 30 sites, 7 of them are located in Hauts-de-France. So we are very concentrated in the center of France, so close to Paris, and also close to Alsace, and because the first warehouse was built in Alsace. To come back to our customers, so our main business is with FMCG customers and retail customers. So 34% is in the FMCG business and 28% about retail. But we have also some other customers in industry, beauty, and perfumes, and also in some countries in pharmaceuticals.
Thank you, Cédric.
Yes, that's it.
So we have 1 hour, so I'm trying to keep on with the time.
Okay.
Because we have very interesting topics to discuss after that. So, yeah. Okay. Emmanuel, you want to introduce Reynaers Aluminium?
So Reynaers Group is a Belgian family group founded in 1965. Its purpose is to develop and distribute worldwide solutions for buildings in steel and aluminium. Currently, the group is employing 2,400 people in 40 countries worldwide, distributed in more than 70 countries. Our headquarters is based in Belgium, in Duffel. Maybe we can move on to the next slide. So you can see our footprint worldwide. And why North France? It's a historical location for the company, for the former company owning Brouchy. It was Péchinet. So in 1995, Reynaers Group bought from Péchinet the Brouchy site. It was specialized in the distribution for north of France. Since 2019, the site distributes all the products for Reynaers Group for France. Why are we in Brouchy? Because we are very concentrate. We have many flows concentrate with our headquarters and the main quarter in Belgium. So one in Duffel, 1 hour from Brussels, and in Le Mans, 1 hour from Duffel. So we have 50% of our business in France coming from Duffel, and the rest of the 50% are going through our coating company in Le Mans. So that's why Brouchy remained the main distribution center for Reynaers Group in France. And one of the interests of keeping Brouchy as a distribution center for France, Brouchy is very close to main roads to distribute France. A1, the north-south axis for France, and the A29, A26, which can cross the France from west to east. So that's why we are currently always in Brouchy.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Now I will ask Didier Thomas to introduce Pôle Emploi, what it does, and maybe to give us some figures on because we just listened to industrial and logistic companies presenting their activities with their footprint, and maybe do you have some figures to illustrate what was just said about the density of industries and logistic companies in northern France?
Yeah, thank you. For the first time, where is Pôle Emploi? Pôle Emploi for me is a key player in the French public employment service. If I got to define our job is probably to help you finding your human resources and through allow you to focus on developing your business and increasing your profits. For that, I really think we got three different actions. The first one is to pay unemployment benefits to job seekers and assist them in getting back to work. The second one is to advise companies on recruitment. And the third one is to adapt the available resources to the need of the company through training. That is Pôle Emploi with all these missions, and we can talk about this great company for a long time, so I will be short term. If I want to present you or introduce you probably the logistics in the region district area of the Hauts-de-France, I can probably say that logistics is an important economic sector in the Hauts-de-France, as you have been told before. For example, one number, 70% of the French logistics buildings are located in the Hauts-de-France. Logistics sectors includes more than around 150,000 salaried jobs in the Hauts-de-France, which is 11% of the total workforce. Take a look at job seekers. You can probably ask yourself, where I find the human resources in this country? You will find the human resources, and this is our mission. But if you can take a look about this person we have in job seekers, what I can say that I got 63,946 job seekers are actually looking for a job in logistics distributed among the different professions. If you look at what, just look, I don't have the screen. Okay, if you look at this slide, you can see that there is probably a slight gap between the skills thought by the companies and those held by the job seeker. Pôle Emploi can respond to this situation by mobilizing public funding, mechanism for short or medium-term training. That is our job, to respond to this situation and to this gap between skills. For this, and this is therefore imperative to meet the companies in order to specify their recruitment needs. Likewise, it is essential to meet and prepare potential candidates in order to determine the skills already acquired and those to be acquired. Finally, I really think that to respond immediately to labor needs, particularly in case of massive recruitment, opening a site, seasonally, and so on, it is necessary to us to anticipate and train future logistic actors. One word, anticipation, and that's why we are here. Before you want to come into and install your own business in the Hauts-de-France, I have to be on your side. Thank you.
Thank you, Didier. So now we go to the second big question about supply chain flexibility and sustainability. I'm going to ask each speakers, about the trends, latest trends in the business, and whether those trends were accelerated or changed by the ongoing pandemic. So I will start with Séverine, FM Logistique. Which part, Séverine, of your activity represented e-commerce before COVID-19, and how about now?
E-commerce was the small part of our activities previously. It was more close to 10% or either less. What we had to face during this COVID situation is that we had to work together with all our customers to propose them an omnichannel supply chain, so to offer them the possibility to deliver retail, but also the e-commerce, their e-commerce business. So during this period, now we are more than 50% of our customers where we do e-commerce for them and omnichannel solution. And today our turnover is closer to 20% in terms of e-commerce. It's close to 20% compared to the 10% before. So we had really to work together with our customers, because we had to react both together on this situation and to jointly find solution to deliver end customers, and to work on this e-commerce supply chain. What is also very important for us is that our supply chain becomes more and more sustainable, because it's the market who requested it, and the planet requested it. Our planet needs to have it. So today we have really to work on different models to be the partner who offers a sustainable omnichannel for our customers. And this is really our credo and our target in the coming years, to still be the partner for the retail activities, but also for the end customers and e-commerce, and to be more and more green and sustainable in terms of new technologies, green electricity. We have to rethink everything in the logistics to be the partner of the future. So this is really our target we have currently.
You wanted to give us a business case of
yes.
Customers?
Yes, so during this period we had to work very rapidly also. In January we have been contacted by the customer Fressnapf Maxiso, who said that they are not able to manage the booming of the e-commerce activities, because before of that Fressnapf had only one DC distribution center for e-commerce, and it was in Germany, and the e-commerce was booming so much that they did not have enough capacity to deliver the market. So they asked us if we would be able to start a new warehouse within 6 months for them, in order to be able to manage the Christmas period this year, and to reduce the capacity in the German side. So we really worked hardly during 3 months and day and night to manage this. And now we are starting the side of Savigny-sur-Cléry for them, and we will deliver the first e-commerce customers for them in September, end of August and September, and we will deliver from this side, from Savigny, the French market, but also a part of the German market and the Irish market. So it was really a big success during this COVID-19 period to start so quickly this activity, and yes, to allow Maxiso to do business, because they were really blocked in their current warehouse, and they did not have enough capacity to deliver the customers. So right now they have a second option with the French distribution center.
Thank you, Séverine. So you really were at the heart of the acceleration of e-commerce.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask Didier. So let's say you have a company like FM Logistic, which has to execute logistic for a customer. So what do you do? How can you help them, and what can you advise them?
Thank you. Yes, let's talk about a successful experience. I want to talk about Amazon Society. I don't know if you know what kind of society it is. A company, a great company. We help Amazon, and we support this establishment 1 year before the opening of the new site. And I insist, 1 year before the opening of a new site. And what can you do? The first one, we identify the potential candidates for each profession. And second time, we inform the public about recruitment opportunities and processes. And third, training additional candidates where the local resources were insufficient. At the opening of the site, we organized a massive recruitment campaign, information, pre-selection, tests, in response to the company's needs. Since the opening with Cure, we have supported each recruitment by mobilizing tools to test and put candidates in the situation. Where applicable, we finance and organize training prior to recruitment, certificate of aptitude for driving machinery, safety rules, and so on. The specificity of the profession leads to peak of inactivity, you know it. For this, we work jointly with a temporary employment agency to promote specific profiles, seasonal, students, in order to allow the company to trickle its workforce over the period. Today, the site has 600 permanent employments and nearly 2,000 in the very busy season. We can help you to do the same thing.
Thank you, Didier. So if I understand, in 1 year, you helped Amazon to hire 2,000 people. Congratulations, very impressive.
Yeah. And we help FM Logistics too.
Okay, now I will ask a question to Christophe. So Christophe, you're not a logistic company, but you're a toilet paper hygiene product manufacturer. And yeah, how was it to be a toilet paper manufacturer during the COVID and particularly during the lockdown? I always wanted to ask this question.
Yes, so toilet paper was the star of the social network. So if you go to the next slide, you know that everybody was rushing. There was a panic buying from many people. And so the big challenge was to be capable to keep the plant running, but also to be capable to supply our customers, the warehousing of our customers. So it was quite a big challenge. We managed to do it. And especially we can talk about the trucks and trucks availability. I know that, for example, my German colleagues were having some difficulties with truck availabilities, which was not the case in France, especially in Hauts-de-France, since we are in a main road, from the south of Europe to north of Europe, and there's always available trucks in one way or the other way, and that's something which really make the difference. If you look structurally, what happened is that the hypermarkets were already declining the years before, but COVID has accelerated the decline and much more versus the supermarkets who have gained some market shares. This is one of the major impact. The second impact is that some part of the consumer are looking for product more ecological and also local made, which was maybe not the case before. And that's also something that we can supply from our side. And the third point is that the economical crisis is coming up, and this is one of the consequences from the COVID. And nowadays we see that consumers are going to products which are cheaper, and they are back to discounters like Lidl, Aldi, and those players who are now getting market share increase further to the COVID. So that's more or less what I can say about the COVID and the impact for our sector.
Thank you, Christophe. So now we switch to the next question about talents. So we'll ask our speakers to share their experience about finding or training or just working together with employees in France or in Northern France, more especially. Séverine, what can you tell us about it?
Yes, so we are not looking for any specific skill set. No specific skill set is requested. We train our people. So our policy is to recruit, train, and integrate. So we work a lot, as Thomas said, with Pôle Emploi in terms to recruitment and to detect the different needs we have. and so on. So that our first target is for us to take care of our people and to propose them a job with quality. So we have recruited over the last 3 years 500 people each year in France. So we are really recruiting a lot of people, and our French market is booming also, and we have very good growth in France. And what we also do is work to find the really solutions to make the job easier. We are working on exoskeleton and so on to make the job easier, because as we know, order picker are doing mostly the same job all the day. So we have also to find for them some facilities to make their job easier. So we are looking mainly for forklift drivers and order pickers in our warehouses.
Thank you, Séverine. Christophe, I won't ask you about maybe recruiting, but I understood that Wepa acquired it's German companies, a German so-called Mittelstand company. And how is it family owned? And how did you successfully integrate 2 French companies, the one you bought, in this German group?
You are on mute.
Yes. Yeah, that's Wepa came in France in 2010 by acquiring the first site, or 2009, that you can see here. And then the second takeover was in 2015, and the latest one was in 2019. And this was made by acquisition of existing plants. And actually, it took a while to Wepa to adapt to the local, or I would say, to the French culture. And I think it's mainly about that's what we can call about the cultural gap. It took a while to build trust between the headquarters in Germany and France, and also to find people who can really communicate together in a much more collaborative way. They started with something which was much more on the command and control, I would say, behaviors, and that didn't work so much. And then it took a while. They understand that no, they need to work, and we need to work differently to have a better cooperation together. So that's very, very important. And at the end, I think the cultural gap is also versus the flexibility, the way we in France maybe react and also are capable to adapt is maybe seen as an advantage from our German colleagues. Now coming to hiring people, we have 2 different types of population. We have workers, shop floor people, the blue collars, where we take advantage of the history from Hauts-de-France, which has always been an industrial area. So there is, like was said by the Pôle emploi person, we have a basic layer of people, and we are hiring people, and we are also practicing an apprentice program. So this is for the blue collars, and for the white collars, Lille is pretty close from Paris. It's a 1-hour journey by train, and Lille is attracting more and more people who want to get out of Paris, but not too far. And by this way, we are capable to find a good talent, like managers or engineers. So this is the way that Wepa is handling his job requirements.
Thank you, Christophe. Talking about cultural gap between Germany and France, I think, Séverine, you also had an issue like that with your customer, German customer, yes. Fressnapf. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, exactly. Regarding our contacts with Fressnapf Maxiso, they admit at the beginning of the discussions that their first intention was to to stay in Germany, to build a warehouse close to the French border, but on the German side, because they had really doubt about how they would be able to adapt on the French culture, and they had some images in mind about strike and so on and so on. But finally, we reached out that we convinced them that we will be really able to manage their business, and finally they were really happy to make this step to go to the French market, and they said yes, we want to be. This platform has to serve the French market, so we have to be in France with French people knowing all the business. And yes, it makes no sense to stay in Germany. But for them, the first idea was to stay in Germany because it would have been easier for them. But yes, at the end, they were happy to go to France with us. So it's still always a question. I think customers are asking if they are if they keep in Germany or if they go to France. But
what you said is very interesting, because some people might not know it, but Germany is the second country's it's the second rank for foreign investment in France. It's the second largest investor in France. But in your case, you see that the perception German companies can have about France, about doing business in France, is not always that good.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting. We talked about recruiting, talked about managing the cultural gap. Didier, what can you tell us about training?
Oh yeah, I will try to be the less technical as possible. And when you are talking about training, sometimes you can feel some complexity on this. I'll say the first one, in France and in Europe in general, but in France we have two categories of training. The first one is the initial training. It is for people, also students, coming from probably kindergarten to university. They are taking for the initial part by the state and the region. Last year, around 1,700 young people took part in training in the logistics sectors in initial training. It's not sufficient at all. So we've got the professional training for adults. Here, Pôle emploi finances training courses that are complementary to those supported by the Hauts-de-France region district. Thus, the regional council takes care of training that leads to a diploma. More than 5,200 places in 2020. In Pôle emploi finances the training that it aims to adapt job seekers to the need of the enterprises. Around 7,000 or 5,000 applicants trained. Sorry, 5,000 applicants trained have been financed by Pôle emploi. In conclusion, probably if I want to convince you to come in the Hauts-de-France, Pôle emploi is fully involved and a stakeholder within the Wepa Logistic Campus. This is a unique facility in France, the main purpose of which is to give a response to the skilled labor needs to the regional logistics sectors. This campus trains a total of nearly 2,000 people per year. It promotes and valorizes the jobs in the sector of these opportunities of the sector of logistics. So I think we have all the tools to adapt the job seekers to your needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Didier. So I understand that the Pôle emploi is a strong partner of the companies interested in recruiting and training people. Jan from North France Invest, do you want to add something about that, about the support of the region?
Yes, this point is definitely a major one for companies in logistics sector. I mean that company go where the skilled people are. And in this respect, the Hauts-de-France region is financing the training cost for the job seekers, meaning that For example, if you want to hire people in the logistic activities and you need to have, let's say, a 200 hours training program, this program will be paid by the region 100%, thanks to a partnership that they have with the Pôle emploi. And also not the wages, but the allocation that these people receive will be paid upfront, not by the company, but by public authorities. So it means that you will, and I now speak to the companies, you will hire people that are already trained according to your needs without paying for that. So I think it's a real advantage, and it's the reason why we have so many logistic companies that have chosen our region to set up and then to develop in the region.
Thank you, Jan. So if I understand, in Hauts-de-France, you can hire people easily. If you don't find them, they will be trained.
Yes.
And large part of the training is paid by the region. So very interesting.
Yeah,
for companies, I would say. So let's switch to the last question, last contributions. Now we have said that Hauts-de-France is a very interesting region. The environment is very interesting. I will ask the speakers, do you have or did you have recent investment projects in the region, or do you plan some? Emmanuel?
Yes, yes. So as I said before, so Brochy becomes the only distribution center for Reynaers Group in France. So we decided 2 years ago to invest 6.5 million in the site to support our growth. So we decided to extend the surface of the site. So the investment itself was not an issue, but the way we did it was an issue because we have some very high constraints, meaning we have 2 high voltage lines overhanging our field, just above the future building we want to build. So we just need to speed up RTE, which is the owner of the electricity network in France, and RTE as how to say, public company has the time to do this kind of operations. And thanks to local authorities and region and the prefecture, so we succeed to speed up RTE to ride these 2 high voltage lines, and we can all the project can go and can run in only 1 phase and not 2 phases spread over more or less 3 years. We did, or we are doing, because we are still currently doing the investment. So we did it just once and not twice as it was planned previously, thanks to the local authorities. So and prior to the invest, the question of do we keep distribution center in Brochy due to these constraints? If we not succeed to get rid of these constraints, the question of the location of Brochy was on the table, and due to the proximity we need with our group, due to the advantage of the region in terms of distribution network, in terms of motorway, in terms of capacity of make our job easy. That's why we take the decision to keep Brochy as a distribution center for France and for the next maybe 10 or 20 years. So so that's it for me.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Christophe, how about Wepa?
Well, simply, Wepa in France is growing. We are getting additional business each year. And as I said before, our logistic cost is very high for us. So what we do usually when you get new business, we are first importing from our partners or from the mills based in Germany or in Italy. And then to a certain extent, then to offset the logistic cost, then we are adding capacity in France. And for example, in today we are talking about an additional line somewhere in France, so to reduce some import cost, and we are talking about a 10 million euros investment. So we do that on a regular basis, and this is really linked again to minimize our logistic cost and still be competitive on the French market.
Thank you, Christophe. Séverine?
Yes, so we have also extension projects. So we will start 2 new activities with customers in Hauts-de-France, but this is still confidential. But we have for sure extension projects in region Hauts-de-France, and we have also some available space in Arras to work with new customers. So we have really available possibilities in Hauts-de-France to work and to get to new business. And in Arras, we have the proximity of the port, so it's really an interesting warehouse.
Thank you. So if I understand, all of you are kind of serial investors.
Yeah.
So now I will ask Jan to as a closing remarks. So let's say if I'm a company, so we've talked about the conditions, the optimal location of being in Hauts-de-France to serve the European market. We talked about the talent, talked about the density of logistic players. Let's say, yeah, if I'm a company and I want to invest, let's say in logistics, if I want to build a new platform, what can you tell me about the available lands or real estate in the region, and which other supports can I benefit from? In 3 minutes.
Yeah, okay. I will be sure. Well, our speakers have said so many things already that there is not a lot to add, a little bit still. But I was very interested by what Emmanuel said regarding Reynaers Aluminium France, the way that we can speed up the procedures so that the companies can continue to develop at their own pace. So what we have is that, of course, as Séverine just said, if you want to work with an existing logistic company, we have like FM logistic companies that can really be your partners. For those companies who want to develop their own distribution centers and warehouses, please have in mind that we have plug-and-play sites. Plug-and-play sites mean that you can start the building. I mean, you just have to ask for the construction permit and the environmental authorization. Then you can start building your warehouse. So it means that you can. It makes you save time and allows you to start very quickly. So we also are able to work as a task force so that you can get all the red tape, be done very quickly. And as has been said, also we have skilled people already available. If you want to hire other people, then we have a very sophisticated and very efficient system to train the people according to your needs. So I think that you can find here a lot of resources to really be successful in your development. And of course, with the partnership we have with Business France, we are here to advise you and to answer to further question you might have.
Thank you, Jan. I think we're finished. So thank you to all the speakers for the contribution. Thank you, Jan. Now we have a Q&A session. So I will ask Olivier in Amsterdam. Do you have? Did you receive any questions?
Yes, actually, we have a couple of questions. The first one being for the general manager of North France Invest, Jan. Actually, somebody is raising this issue. The acceptance for large logistics platforms is sometimes questioned by local communities. The question is, what about Northern France? Is there still some place left?
We have, as I said just before, we have plug-and-play sites, meaning that on this place there is no question that you will have a resistance from local population against this project. If you look at let's talk about Amazon, which is really a world famous company. Amazon, they have developed 4 warehouses, 100,000 square meters warehouses in different places in the region, and they did it in a very, very short time without any resistance from any party so against this development. So I'm really confident about that.
Okay, great, good to hear. Well, there's a next question. Somebody is actually wondering about the comparative advantage for Northern France versus Belgium, which is also very much like in the heart of Europe. So whoever wants to expand on that topic.
I can say a few words about that. Yesterday morning, actually, I did a calculation for a project that we are working on with Christelle Rondel, who is our project director for logistic activities. And we are in competition with Belgium, actually, for this project. And if you go on our website, northfranceinvest.com, you can find, we have a benchmark that is available, carried out by EY. Everybody knows EY, and this benchmark compares the salaries and the payroll cost between several cities in Hauts-de-France and other cities in France or in other countries, and Belgium is part of them. And I can tell you that for a 400 people warehouse, the gap between our region and Belgium is 30%. 30%. So this is a very good, argument to say that we are very competitive because the wages are lower in our region than they are in Belgium.
Okay, great. Well, in the meantime,
I add something about this if you want. For instance, this question, I think that our strength is the partnership between the region district, the public service, and we are all turned to the enterprise growth and the possibility to help the enterprise on growth in your benefits. That is a really strong position in the Hauts-de-France district, more in France and in Hauts-de-France, because we have a great partnership between all the actors and in the public and the region Hauts-de-France, and it helps the enterprise when they want to come.
Okay. Maybe one more question. Somebody speaking from Germany, actually wondering about potential connections with shippers in Northern France, asking about which channels will be privileged. Anybody?
Who is this question addressed to, Olivier?
It's not mentioned, but somebody who was working for a digital logistic company based in Germany with trucks driving in Northern France, unloading products, goods on a daily basis, and wondering about the connections, the availability of connections with shippers in Northern France.
We can answer the question, but maybe after the webinar.
Okay, great.
With manage that. We handle that.
Okay, so one last question to close up the webinar about the trends in automation for warehouses. We hear a lot about Industry 4.0 and so on. Is there like Could you say maybe a few words about automation in the logistics sector in northern France?
I think Séverine can answer this question.
Yes, it's a general trend. We are going more and more to automation. As I already said, we are looking to make the job easier with automated warehouses who made unit picking easier. So the logistics are changing. So we have also to change our way to work, and automation and innovation is one of the way to make the job easier, and for sure automation is a big trend in logistics today.
And I think DGA is also working together with the German companies specialized in warehouse automation, because we know them too, we follow them too. We want to say something about it?
Not at all.
Okay. You talked about it, I don't know if you can mention them. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah. Thank you very much, Olivier.
Shall I take one more question, or are we already?
I think some speakers have to go.
Okay, so I suggest that maybe we'll collect the additional questions that now are appearing through the web chat or through LinkedIn. And maybe we can follow up on these topics afterwards on one-to-one basis with those who ask specific questions, if you agree on that.
Yeah. There is a very interesting question about the cost of termination of contract. And I think maybe not now, but I think we have to answer this, because things have changed a lot in France, but I think it's not known, not enough. And okay. On this specific topic, yes. Things have changed, and we have to answer this.
Okay, duly noted. We keep the name of the correspondent, and we'll follow up on that.
Thank you. So I have to thank the speakers again for their contribution, for sharing the experience with us. I have to thank North France Invest, Jan, for sponsoring this event. I have to thank the attendees, my team for inviting everybody, and the question that were asked. Thank you very much. As I said, the webinar was recorded. The link will be available very soon, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.